Bonjour, bienvenue. Welcome back to Grade 7 French. This is the first of 3 grammar slash parts of speech lessons that will be held throughout Unité 6. In this first lesson, we are going to look at the Futur Proche. So far, we have been reading, writing, and speaking French completely in the present tense. But sometimes we need to communicate ideas about what will happen in the future. How can we do this? Well, it's time that we learned how to use le futur proche, the future tense. Most of the time, when we communicate in English in the future tense, we use the words going to, as in, I am going to finish my homework, or they are going to leave in a few minutes. So what I want you to do when I finish talking is put this video on pause so then you can write down some more examples of sentences which are written in the future tense in English. And make sure that the sentences use the words going to. Please put the video on pause now. All right, and I'll invite you to share the examples which you have written down in tomorrow's class. But for now, writing sentences in French in the future tense, or le futur proche, is similar to writing in the future tense in English. When we write French sentences in the future tense, we need to use the verb aller, to go, in our sentences. Now, it's been a while since we used the verb aller, so let's fill out the conjugation chart on the next slide to refresh our memory. Now, I've gone ahead and I filled out the conjugation chart for the verb aller. In tomorrow's class, you're going to get a handout in which you're going to fill out the right hand column for the aller chart. But for now, I think what you should do is put the video on pause so that you can either quickly jot down a copy of this chart on a piece of paper or take a picture with your mobile device, because you're going to want to have a copy of this chart handy for the activities on the coming slides. So please put the video on pause now so that you can make a copy of this chart. All right, let's move on. Here is the structure we use to write a sentence in the future tense. First, we write the subject, such as je, tu, il, elle, and so on, plus the correct conjugation for the verb aller, plus the main verb. We need to make sure that we conjugate the verb aller to match the subject. For example, je suis. The other verb does not need to be conjugated. So let's try this out. Okay, I've got 5 questions here in which we're going to practice le futur proche. For each statement here, we need to fill in the correct conjugation of aller in order to put each sentence in the future tense. So I'll do the first one for you. Nous blank acheté le logiciel sonore ce soir. We need to put the correct conjugation for aller between nous and acheter, the subject and the verb. So going back to our aller chart, see when it's nous, it's allons. So nous allons acheter le logiciel sonore ce soir. So what I want you guys to do is put the video on pause so that you can work on these remaining 4 questions. Remember, you are going to want to have your aller conjugation chart at your side as you work on this activity. Please put the video on pause now. All right, let's proceed. Okay, so now for this slide, what we're going to do is we're going to take the sentences and we just need to add a couple of little words to put each sentence in the negative form. So for un, we have nous allons acheter le logiciel sonore ce soir. So of course, to make any sentence negative, we need to add the two words ne et pas. But the question is, where do we add ne et pas in each sentence when it's written in le futur proche? Well, the rule is we put ne and pas around the conjugate form of aller. So look at un, we see allons, so that means we're going to put an apostrophe because allons begins with a vowel. Okay, so we have nous n'allons pas acheter le logiciel sonore ce soir. Okay, so put the video on pause now so that you can try the remaining 4 problems. Okay, one more activity slide. This one's fill in the blank. Okay, so each of the sentences have been written in the present tense. And so now we're going to write them in the future tense. That means that we, of course, need to add the correct conjugation for aller, but then we need to unconjugate the main verb each of the original sentences. So for un, est-ce que vous choisissez des vêtements? Have you chosen the clothes? We want this to say, are you going to choose the clothes? So looking back at our aller chart, it's going to be vous allez, and choisissez comes from choisir. So what I have now is, est-ce que vous allez choisir des vêtements? Are you going to choose the clothes? So what I want you to do is put the video on pause so that you can write down your solutions for the remaining 4 problems. Okay, and to wrap things up, great job. After we take up the activities that were included on this video, I'm going to give you guys some time to work on a couple of pages in your cahier. But until we meet tomorrow, this concludes today's video.